Anyone who has watched anime will come across situations where a random boy or girl gets a special power, which would have to be used to save the world and defend it from outside forces, or so it is planned. The magical girl genre is full of amazing young girls who have amazing abilities granted to them. They should be strong enough to face the worst. So far, so good, right? But what if these young girls who were chosen from nothing, who thought that being a magical girl would be fun and a world of roses, when faced with the harsh reality that they have to get bloody for defending their world, and not only because of external enemies, but also because of their companions, people who have been killed, their own companions, and are very bad psychologically. Or imagine that the person who gave you your powers suddenly tells you that you have to kill everyone to win a game. A little crazy, right? This is why I bring you the 7 best magical girl animes with a very dark plot. Yuuki Yuuna wa Yusha de Aru. Yuuki Yuuna wa Yusha de Aru takes place in the modern world as we know it. Adults go to work like normal adults. Children go to school like normal students, but there's a twist to this. Behind the scenes of all this, there are magical girls who fight against the alien creatures called Vertex, who come from the other side of the wall, also known as the World of Flames. The objective of these creatures is to reach the divine tree that is protected by the heroes, also known as the god and protector of humanity, Shinju. A vertex reaching the divine tree would mean the destruction of humanity. That is why these young women fight and offer their lives, protecting the world and the people they love so much, while losing control over their bodies, such as the loss of their voice or memories of their life. Gene wo kakeru. This anime is about a girl named Akari, who was destined to become a magical girl and fight evil creatures known as daimonia. As she slowly realizes the burden of responsibility on her, Akari finds herself wondering if she should continue to do what she believes is truly wrong. After killing her cousin, Akari vows to save everyone. She plans to save the innocent people who are being harmed by daimonia, the same daimonia that were once human, and also save the rest of her friends. It's too much for a girl to handle. However, Akari is determined to fight to the end and help as many poor souls as she can. As an extra fact, each magical girl represents a tarot card. In this case, Akari represents the power of the sun. Mahou Shoujo Asuka. The story follows Rapture Asuka Otori, a retired magical girl who still bears scars from her final battle. When a new threat appears, her trainer, Yoshiaki Izuka, tries to convince her to join the new team known as M Squad. She is hesitant at first, but when her magical friend Warners returns to her life, along with seeing her friend Nozomi tortured by illegal magical girls run by the Library of Babel, she decides to force her way back. When she returns to the world from the battle, Asuka quickly discovers the plethora of evils that prey on magic, from evil magical girls to even the Russian mob. This anime practically mixes the fantasy with the modern, taking weapons as magical objects and even ferocious monsters. It also tells the perspective of someone who no longer wants to fight and wants to stop being a magical girl, and shows her reasons why. Blue Reflection Road. The story takes us to a world where magical girls fight other magical girls, and one seems to give up in the process. Then we jump to an unspecified time in the future. Instead of any of the previously seen magical girls, we are introduced to our protagonist, Ruka, a girl who has transferred to a new school to start anew. She is socially awkward and doesn't know how to respond to people, which makes her seem cold and distant to the other students she interacts with. One night, while in her dorm, her missing roommate, Hiyori, makes a grand entrance through her window instead of the bedroom. She then picks up a ring dropped by the street by a mysterious girl, and the world freezes and changes colors for an instant. Mahou Shoujo Site.
かこの地獄を。
魔法の力を与えよう。終わらせて。
Magical Girl Sight, also known as Mahou Shoujo Sight, is a dark fantasy story about a girl named Asagiri Aya. She is the victim of many miserable events, such as being bullied at school, being abused at home, and having no friends. One day, she opens a website on her computer called Magical Girl Sight. A person's face is seen on the screen, and the word unlucky echoes in the room. The next day, Aya finds a so-called stick in her shoe locker. This item looks like a gun and gives her the ability to teleport the person she shoots with. Using the stick also depletes the user's life, so using it too much means you can die. Mahou Shoujo Ikse. The story begins with some people that were selected to become magical girls while playing a magical girl phone game. They are then forced to participate in a game of death in which the magical girl with the fewest candies at the end of the week dies. They initially obtain these candies by performing acts of kindness, but Fav, the one in charge of the game, continually adds new items that push some of the magical girls to kill each other. Himekawa Koyuki, also known as the magical girl Snow White, finds herself in a very different situation that she has ever dreamed of, and tries to stick to her ideals. This task becomes increasingly difficult as the high stakes slowly reveal the monsters that had been hiding in the midst of the magical girls. Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica.
二人とも今すぐ僕と契約を。まどか、さやか。
The series revolves around the protagonist, Madoka Kaname, and her friend Sayaka Miki, ordinary high school girls who live completely normal lives. Their daily life takes a sudden turn when they have a fateful encounter with Kyubei, a cat-like magical familiar, and a girl named Homura Akemi, who happens to be the new transfer student. The quirky Kyubei offers the two girls a seemingly charming proposition. He will grant any of their wishes, but in return, they will each become a magical girl. It sounds like a big deal, as becoming a magical girl will grant them enough power to fulfill their dreams. However, the magical girl Homura urges them not to accept the proposal, simply stating that it is not what it appears to be. Thus begins each story of hope, despair, and friendship, as all the difficulties of being a magical girl are addressed, as well as the terrible price one must pay to make one's dream come true.
あなた